LawrenceHits.com, it's Jay Walks, and we're talking today with Thomas O'Flanagan, who is the youth care specialist at The Villages, Inc.
Yep.
How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for what you do on behalf of the abused, neglected, and abandoned children of Lawrence and Douglas County. Is it just Lawrence and Douglas County, or does it expand beyond that
We
geographic
serve
area?
Douglas County. I do personally, but we also do Topeka, Kansas.
Okay, so Douglas and Shawnee County. Now, The Villages was founded way back in 1964 by Dr. Carl Menninger, and the purpose behind this was to somehow create an atmosphere of healing using nature for youth that fell into the category of abused, neglected, and abandoned. Now, obviously, a lot of things have happened in the 54 years since Dr. Menninger's vision. What is the vision of The Villages today?
Basically to bring in kids with a variety of backgrounds and offer them the best quality of life possible, understanding their circumstances, which is really challenging, obviously. We work with Lawrence High School, and we have therapists in company to kind of rehabilitate and then basically incorporate them back into their families, if that's their goal, or whatever they really choose. You know, if it's independent living, it's up to them.
What is the youngest age that you will take a child?
Our house, I mean, you can look at the pool of kids, and they get down like 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
So it gets really young, but like my particular group home is 12 and up. Just because it's boys 12 and up, because we want them to basically be able to relate to where it's like a family, I suppose. You don't want content that's inappropriate for, younger kids.
Sure.
So they all have basically something in common. They can relate to each other.
Right.
So it's 12 to 18-year-old boys.
So in each home, there's a different age group and there's a different gender group.
Yes. So like we chose just to serve males in my house, but there are homes with mixed, males and females. It's just males work for us.
Okay. So your home, do you live there full time?
No. I just work actually first shift. So it's 7 to 3, 5 days a week. But we have 24/7 staff around the clock. So there's always someone there to supervise the kids and help them if they need it.
Okay. So in your home of 12 to 18-year-old boys, what's a typical day like?
I mean, it can definitely be crazy because, we're housing like about, 10 kids ideally at once, and, teenage boys in one house. There's a lot of, there can be drama, but it's kind of like a dorm kind of feel. So like right now, they go to school from basically 7 to 3, and they come home. We do study time. We do therapy if they apply, some of them work. So we'll transport them to their jobs so they can have, a financial stability going into their next stage, which to me is very important to offer them that. And they have a family-style dinner, and that's about it. I mean, it's a little bit more predictable during the school year because, it's all about studying and making sure they actually do well.
And these are students who go to school in either Lawrence Public Schools or Topeka Public Schools?
Correct, yeah. Lawrence High School is who we go through. All of them do. And honestly, it's been really positive. Like, there's a lot of resources in Lawrence for them. We have paras that are always available to help them out throughout their day. So if they, get lost or they need help, they can reach out to this, it's actually a young man, and he can direct them however, they need, basically.
How many young men have to share one bedroom?
It's 2 per bedroom.
Okay, so it's kind of like a college dorm.
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely the feel of it. I mean, so it's, because I went to Hutch Community College.
Okay.
I experienced the dorm life there.
Yeah.
And it was all right, but, it built character, and I think it's a good environment for these kids because it's a lot of like learning about social skills and group dynamics, which is sometimes kind of new to them. Mm-hmm. So, but it's very helpful. Like, obviously that's going to be a skill that's later in life. You've got your own family, you got your own friends, you got roommates. You need to develop those skills.
Now, is there a restriction on the use of personal electronics and social media?
Absolutely. I mean, just because of the liability that, if people have access to the internet, we restrict that. That's not something we provide internet. So, I mean, if they're at school, they have their laptops, that's great, but we just don't do internet at the house.
So what if they have to do a homework project? Do they have to do that at school?
We have laptops that we provide, and it has filtered. So there's restrictions on the sites they can actually go to on these computers. So it's purely educational or work opportunities. That's it. So there's no other sites. There's no social networking, anything like that.
So no Facebook, no Twitter, none of that.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep. It's because we're trying to manage the time. We only have finite resources, so it's not really casual. It's very productive.
Right.
And then it passes off to the next kid, so they can all have a chance.
Okay. Where does the nature come in?
Well, I mean, my group home personally is on a very large hill, like trees everywhere, and the birds is a constant. It's nature sounds constantly, and it's just something, especially in the summertime, we go for a lot of walks, and we go for, we just explore the environment surrounding the house, and, use that as an opportunity to kind of relax, but also, it's leisure, yet, it's educational.
I mean, do you build pathways? Do you have a garden? Do you do stuff like that?
Yep. Yeah, we have a garden on site. We grow, variety, whatever the kids want, really. And personally, I'm a huge gardener, so I see a great value in it. The fact that it's hard work manifesting into tangible goods that they can enjoy, and it's fresh food. And that's something I think a lot of people don't have. So it's nice to provide that.
Now, within this village, there are 400 acres, and within the 400 acres, there is an adventure challenge course.
Yep.
What's that about?
The ropes course is what we call it, the adventure challenge course as well. We take the kids there, and it's a lot about teamwork. The same stuff that they learn in the group homes. They have instructors, people that have been trained to provide basically background on each task, and it's physical, but it is also it's little puzzles that you solve. Someone has to stand in one place, and then they work together to achieve these goals to get through the course, and it brings them together. Absolutely. A lot of times they come in and they're not very happy with each other. Not everybody gets along. That's obvious.
Right.
But it's by the time they're done, you can see a difference, a positive difference, and it is. It's very challenging because there's going to be frustration, but it's also very. There's a sense of achievement when you get through it because it's challenging. It is, but so is life. So
Absolutely. Is there an opportunity for these youngsters to interact with people from the general public? I noticed that you have volunteer opportunities, so I'm guessing that that's part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. This summer, one of the big things we're going to do is work with. It's called Gear Up. It's a company that its whole mission is to get kids ready for college.
Okay.
And they provide tons of services for us. So where we go out and it's actually with Just Foods here in Lawrence.
Yeah.
And they'll go and garden and, it's with the community. People show up and volunteer. They, stake little claims on these raised bed, plots. And, we go, honestly, the Lawrence Public Library is a common spot. We come here a lot to actually do the social networking if they want, but ideally researching, studying, kind of exploring what they want to do when they get out and having basically just information available to them that's going to help them guide into the next step that's hopefully a good one.
What happens to the young man who graduates from Lawrence High School? Then what?
Ideally, they're going to college.
Okay.
Because
will they stay with you for the summer before college? Or
it's up to them. I think they can stay until 22 or 23.
Okay, so there is, because a lot of programs, literally when you turn 18, you get cut off.
Yeah, and we don't do that. You can stay if you choose, but most of them don't. Most kids choose, they turn 18, they want to get a job, they want to have a wife or a husband or whatever whatever they want, really. But we, through Gear Up, we offer them education, like assistance.
Right.
So I think it's like $4,000 a semester. Like Europe makes it really cheap. As long as they work with the program, that could be the next step. Hopefully, yeah, for all of them.
How does Lawrence High School identify, and you said as young as 12, so that involves the middle schools are in play as well. How does the school district identify the student that has the need? What are the steps that are taken? Does the student have to come forward, or is it the guidance counselor who says, I got a situation here?
Well, with the help of KVC, they either get individualized education plans, IEPs,
right,
or not. And I mean, if they are identified as having need, if they have some special challenge or something, they're given one. And it's, the faculty does a great job. I'm a big fan of Lawrence High School. I think they do a fantastic job with these kids because some of them are challenging. Some of them are behind. They're short on credits, so it's not super routine. It's very fluid and it's challenging.
And some of these kids were homeless prior to entering the program.
Yeah, neglected, abused, all of that. Yeah, so some of them have not been to school. Some of them are not used to this kind of structure. But Lawrence High School, they provide a great one, in my opinion.
How often is it the student that asks for help versus the school saying the student needs the help?
It's kind of half and half.
Okay.
But it's more that the school steps forward.
Right.
Because the kids, that's one of the biggest challenges is I try to teach them self-advocacy, where they can step forward and say, hey, I need this. Like, this is a challenge in my life because, neglect has been a big part of their lives for some of them.
Well, and it may be neglect on the basis of, having parents that have problems with drugs or alcohol or unemployment or mental disorders. It could be a variety of things that cause the neglect.
True.
Right. And they didn't sign up for that going into the situation.
No. And it's a big challenge, but I like to believe that we offer a lot of the resources that it takes to basically put that in the rearview mirror and move forward and not let that dictate their outcome. It's just part of their past.
How is the Villages Inc. funded?
Well, it's a nonprofit. So, I'm almost positive it's through the state.
Okay. But I noticed that you also have the ability for private groups or corporations to come in and take advantage of the ropes course, the Adventure Challenge. Do they have to pay for that? They have to make a donation to use that?
I do believe that if the public was to show up, and they're welcome to, there is some kind of financial exchange,
okay.
I believe.
All right. And in terms of what your organization's needs are today, on the website, there is a wish list of supplies, and I would venture to say that that's ongoing. It's a permanent wish list, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is school related. We can never get enough, calculators. Graphing calculators are tremendously expensive. So those things mean a lot to the company if people step up and provide those things. We do the holidays. We have awesome community outreach up to this point. My experience has been great. People adopt the kids, and by them, they make their Christmas happen.
And what is Stone Nature Center? Because that's the website, stonenaturecenter.org. What does that refer to?
I believe it's the ropes course, but I haven't personally been on that website. I assume that it's the ropes course, though. Okay.
So if you go, if you want information about the villages, what website do you go to?
I believe it's the villages, inc.org is our website. If you type in the villages on your Google browser. It is the
villagesinc.org.
There we go. Yeah, right. It's you can see basically our mission statement, a little bit about our history, and you can see the services we provide.
In terms of volunteers, what do you look for?
People with empathy, patience, and leadership skills. That's really it. Is just a love for children and advocating for them to actually have a good life and being involved.
So say, for example, I like to cook. I could come in as a volunteer and I could teach the boys in your house how to cook a simple meal, and that would be something that would be useful.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a guy, Walt, that comes in and teaches yoga.
Okay.
He has he rents a studio here in town, but he comes over, and over the summer, he teaches them yoga, and I mean that's something he makes money off of, but he also provides that resource to our facility.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah, cooking would be something like that. I mean, real life skills. Music would be one, because all the kids like music a lot. It's a big part of their lives. So like things like that are very applicable and wanted. Absolutely.
How did you get involved?
I met my supervisor at my previous company here in Lawrence. I was doing disability supports.
Okay.
And that's definitely the bulk of my experience is with disability supports. And I wanted to change. I love helping people that are challenged, physically and mentally. But that's the beautiful thing about human services. There's a lot of different, hospice care, disability supports.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many different addictions and people helping people in all these different aspects.
I mean, was that part of your life at some point? Is that why you were attracted to that?
My dad had experience in the foster care system, and it was relatively negative.
Okay.
And I remember him telling me stories about it, and I think that was the first seed that got me thinking about it, and I started wondering. It's I wonder if I could make a difference in this. If I could go there and make it better for kids that are going through the same stuff my dad did, because it was obviously very challenging for him.
But you didn't have that experience yourself.
Nope. I'm fortunate to say that my parents have provided a very good environment for me, and I've always had a roof over my head.
What is the experience that you have that gives you the most personal satisfaction when working with these boys?
Oh, I mean, it's not every day, but it's often. You see that thankfulness in their eyes, you teach them skills, and that's obviously not super fun all the time.
Right.
It's challenging, but when you see it manifest into them becoming an adult and using those skills to actually be successful, when they get good grades, when they come back and they make things they're proud about, and it's partially thanks to you.
Yeah.
It's goes through just even the school, what they study. Their shop class, if they're making stools, is a literal example of what one of the kids did. And it's just that pride, because a lot of times they show up and they don't have that. And when you see that come out of them and start to build, it's incredibly rewarding and sweet.
I would imagine that a tremendous amount of empathy and emotional support has to go into every single day.
Yes.
How often do you have somebody crying on your shoulder?
It's not every day, but it's going to happen at least once a week where someone's going to have a really hard day, and whether it's involving their guardians, their educational challenges, their transition into basically becoming an adult, and what it means to hold down a job and get a house and all of the challenges we face as adults. It gets hard, and they reach out, and I'm very proud of the fact that they feel comfortable coming to me and other staff members and, expressing that and venting. Sometimes it's not always just solving their problems. It's
maybe just listening.
Yeah, just listening. It's not like you have to be a superhero.
Right.
That's what I like to tell people when they ask about it. It's not like any magic trick. It's just, being there for them, just being a decent person in their lives. And that's what they need. I think that's what we all need to a certain degree.
Tommaso Flanagan is a youth care specialist with the Villages, Inc. You can get more information. It's thevillagesinc.org and learn about the program. You can learn about volunteer opportunities. You can learn about ways that you can help by donating items or financial resources. You can talk about how perhaps your company could get involved, sharing a skill set, helping these boys in some regard, and matching your particular skills and abilities with their particular needs. Your particular home is boys 12 to 18, but there are other opportunities within the organization as well.
Yep. Yeah. Multiple languages, multiple ages, genders, and it's very, every house is different.
Right.
That we serve.
Okay. Tommaso Flanagan with the Villages Inc. Thanks for being with us today on LawrenceHits.com.
Thanks for having me.